Hello everyone, this is Nikhil and welcome back to our channel Nikhil's Learning World. So friends, today's tutorial we are going to learn two very important concepts in C programming that are functions and array, right? So these topics are extremely important because they help us to write and organize and reusable and efficient programs. So this video is a part of our complete C programming course available on our YouTube channel. So without wasting time, let's get started. So in the first part we are saying the functions in C programming. So basically what is a C program? What is a functions? So function is a block of code that performs a specific task, right? So whenever we write any programming, so we need to write a code into particular function, right? So that performs a specific task. That code is a perform a specific task, so we need to write a function. So instead of writing the same code again and again, we can create a function, so we can reuse it in our throughout the project, right? So these are the some advantages of the functions, right? So code reusability, easy for debugging as a developer, so better readability, right? So and modular programming, these are the some advantages of the functions. So basic syntax of the function is like this. Okay, so return type. So before that function name, we need to specify that particular return type. What type of the function return a values, right? So it may be integer, float, character, or string type, right? So this is the syntax: return type and function name, and after that in the bracket we need to pass that particular parameters. If you need sending a parameters, that we need to specify that parameters as well. So in the next slide, we have to check the function declaration, definition, and calling of that functions. So declaration of that functions, like return type, as we see in the syntax: return type, function name, and passing the number of parameters, right? So definition, like integer add, passing two parameters, integer a and b, so that function return the value a plus b, right? It may be an integer value, right? So the return type, it should be integer only. So calling, how to call that function? The function calling is like add and passing the parameters. If you have to pass that value 5 and 3. Okay, so next slide, the types of functions. Though there are mainly 4 types of functions in C programming: without arguments and without return type. Second one is with arguments and without return type. Third one is without arguments but with return value, right? And fourth one is with arguments and with return value. So these are the 4 types of function in C programming. So one by one we have to check here. So first is without arguments and without return type. So naming gives us suggests that without arguments and without return type means what? The only a single function, right? In for example, hash include stdio.h, that is the header file. Here is the function name is greet. Okay, so greeting what? Printf hello students. So that function is written here, right? So in the main we calling that like greet function, right? So whenever the first program execute from the main function, it will execute first greet and the print the value as hello student. Okay, this is the without argument, without a return type. It should not return any value, so without a return value. Second slides, with arguments and without a return value. With argument and without a return value, and what means? Here is the function add integer values passing a and b, return print sum equal to a plus b, right? a plus b, whatever the value we are sending here, a and b values, the sum of that values will be print here. So in a main function we are passing 5 and 3, so it will be print sum equal to 8, right? This is the with the argument but without return type, right? So third one, without arguments but with return value. So here we are not sending any arguments to that function, but that function return as a value, right? So in an example, stdio.h get a number, this is our function name, right? Get a number. In that particular function we are integer value in num, enter a number, right? It will be a get a number in num data type, integer value. Okay, it return as num. Okay, in a main function we are calling in an integer value. Okay, it in an integer value get number. Okay, the calling that function and it will be written as a particular number, right? So in integer n, the function return value will be added, and in the next line number is equal to particular that return number will be print here. Okay, this is the without arguments but with the return type. Okay, in the next slide, with argument and with return value, this is the fourth one. Okay, in this example we can see here with arguments and with return type, so they multiply, this is our function, and it return as integer value, that multiplication of two integer numbers. Okay, in a main function we calling that function with argument as a 4 and 5. Okay, it will be written as our multiplication, 5 into 4 20, so 20 will be print here. This is our example of with arguments and with return value. Okay, so in the next slide, recursion. So this is a very important concept. So in C programming, recursion means is the function calling itself. So a function calling itself, so it's called as recursion functions. Okay, so in example factorial, here whenever we print the value of factorial value, we need this recursion function. You can see in our example a factorial value, in a main function we number as a 5 and we calling that factorial function with our passing argument. So factorial is a passing arguments and integer value. So in factorial function integer we check in first in if the number should not equal to 0, so it will be written as a 1. In the else part, return a number into a factorial number minus 1 means what? If the sending is a 5 into 4, it will be written as function, it will be written to the function. So here a function calling itself, right? So this is a recursion function. This is an example of recursion function. So this is all about the functions. So next topic is arrays in C programming. So what is array? Array is just collection of elements, those same data types stored in a continuous memory location, right? So this is an example of array. Instead of writing integer a equal to, if you want to print 100 values, right, for example, so manually we cannot do the integer a, integer b, c, d like that if you want to store 100 values, right? So we can use the arrays like integer arrays and in the bracket of particular size. If you want to store 3 values, for example, so 3 values like 10, 20 and 30, this is our array. So in that way we can store 100 values as well. Okay, so instead of 3 we can put here 100 only. Okay, so the array of size is 100, so we can put the 100 values into that particular array. So this is our array. So how can declare the declaration of the array is, so as like integer value, it should be a data type whatever you have, and store that value. This is the 5 means the size of that particular value, and the array is stored integer value, right? So initialization, particular size is 5, so we can store 1 2 3 4 5. These are the 5 elements we can store as an integer to that particular array array integer, right? So accessing, how to access that element, so we can access by the index, and note is given here, like a index always start with the from 0. If you have a size of 5 elements particular array, so the index start from 0 means that index last index is our size minus 1, that is a 4. Okay, so if you want to first element access, right? So array and 0 means index we have to print here. So automatically in the output window we will print the first index value, right? So this is our accessing of elements in array. So taking input in array, so how can we take input to that particular array? Here is an example. We need a for loop which has initial value is integer is I equal to 0 and I is less than 5, I plus plus. Scanf will be take that particular input values, right? So we have a 5 size of array, and in the next for loop we have to print. Okay, this is our taken input and print that particular 5 elements of array. This is an example of taking inputs in the array, right? So in the next slide, combined example of functions and array. In this session we cover functions in C programming and arrays in C programming. So combined example here is stdio.h. This is our header file, and function is integer sum of array, and we are passing here array elements and that particular size of that array, right? So sum equal to 0 for I is equal to 0, I is less than size is we have sent, for example, 5 elements of array, so size will be here 5 and I plus plus. Sum here is initialized as 0, right? So sum equal to array of index is value whatever we have sent that particular value. Okay, here is the our array and particular size, so index will be add to that particular sum, and it finally that function return that sum total of arrays number size. Okay, so here we had coded array of integer 5 elements 1 2 3 4 5, and the result will be print here. After that particular all digits, sum of all digit comes into the result variable, right? And finally this will be print here. So this is the combined example of function and array. So this is our tutorial about a function and array in C programming. So these are the quick review we have seen this tutorial. So next topic will be pointers in C programming. Hope you are like this session. Okay, so you have any difficulties or any queries, you can comment me on this. Okay, so hope you are enjoying this video, and you can now understand function and array in C programming. So two very important programming concepts we have covered in this tutorial. If you like or enjoyed this video, so please like and share my this tutorials series on. So in the next topic we will cover pointers in C programming. So this is Nikhil and signing off. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.